You know, Lenin said when it comes time to hang the capitalists, they'll sell us new rope. And this is true. Lenin's gone, but we are still, you know, digging the ground from beneath our feet because of this object fetishism, which is a form of addiction, which comes out of, you know, our dysfunctional relationship to our prehistory. I think so. And then there are two ways to approach doing something about it. One, to go cold turkey, to try and just cure it by, I suppose, psychedelic drugs and massive applications of a different point of view, or to try and mediate it by analyzing, this would be the methadone approach, to try and figure out, you know, what is it about this fetishism and how much of it can be satisfied without killing ourselves. And this is where you get the virtual reality enthusiasts, because they're saying, you know, object fetishism is not detrimental to the earth if the objects are made of light. In other words, the problem is the physicality of the fetish itself. If you can make the fetish out of light, well, in a sense, we have this, though. We have hundreds of millions of people being warehoused by television, where they live, you know, toxic, low-awareness lives, semi-preserved by food preservatives and low levels of ionizing radiation, and they live in great arcologies where everybody is tuned to a different, yes. Well, on the other hand, do you want these people driving around and crowding the malls and waiting in lines in front of you in restaurants? If all these people ever... So, I don't know. It's a great age for intelligence because there's so little of it. The nature of the game is to deprogram from all of these systems of images that are being handed down. And then, you know, to make your way like a pilgrim with eyes open across a new landscape, which is not a very pretty landscape because, you know, Western civilization is in the act of a slow-motion train wreck. That's what's going on at the end of the millennium.
What's the alternative?
Well, the only alternative I've found is to yak about it, and to, you know, a kind of Hasidic complaining is good, and just never shut up. What's happening now is there is so much understanding running around at the service of capitalism, but it's all micromanaged. Somebody has a technology for making a better chip, somebody has a better, faster switch, but nobody can extrapolate what is the consequence of all of this stuff at once. And there are emergent properties, so that no one can actually predict the direction that the culture is moving in, and the cone of projection is actually shortening, not lengthening, as uncertainty is crowding into the system, as more and more factors begin to arrive. I mean, we don't know where it could come from. It could come from superconductivity, or cold fusion, or charge transfer, or, you know, and at any moment, some technology, technique, or piece of information could arrive, which will just confound the entire situation. People like ourselves, what we represent is an intuitionally driven underground of people who have found this to have some positive or fascinating impact on our own lives, but we are not an ideology or a field of study. I mean, some of us are simply thrill seekers. Some of us are pharmacologists, some of us ethnologists, some botanists, psychologists, artists. Everybody has a different angle, but the thing has not annealed into a coherent understanding. The self, the ego, is the crowning achievement of Western civilization. It also is sinking the rowboat. And what this stuff represents is an antidote But this is a cultural war of such fierceness and fury because, people are going to be mighty agitated when they realize what cultural transformation really means. It means you can't take it with you. It means you can't take you with you. And, that the issue of surrender in a dominator society is very major. That's why these psychedelics are so politically hot. Because, the ego, for all of its bluster, is a very fragilely established thing. And every wind that blows carries a certain threat to it. I don't really believe in reincarnation in the ordinary sense, but I do believe that we are interference patterns of effects created by people who existed in the past and the future. And you can see it. I see a lot of people, and at least I think I do. Sometimes I think it's just the same 250 being moved ahead of me on trucks at night. But I'm not sure. But people give off these resonances of past time, and situations give them off. Cities. I mean, it's not so true in America where everything is young, but in Europe, if you know where you are, then you usually know several things scattered along a time chain about where you are. What was going on in the 4th century, the 9th century, the 16th, and the 19th. And this is a way of seeing. I mean, this is really there. This is in everything. This is just an extension of intuition where you actually see a wider spectrum of time in people, in their faces. What's happening is that the society is beginning to stretch its upper and lower boundaries. You can now fall farther and climb higher than you ever could before. I mean, if you screw up in this society, you could find yourself living under a bridge quickly. If, on the other hand, the dice rolled a different way for you, you could be sleeping with Madonna tomorrow.